Hi, everybody. Welcome to Happy Hour Live on Brews Sports. The madness has officially begun. Yes, we are talking about the NCAA double tournament kicking off today, and I know that there is a lot of excitement to get to today, and we certainly are going to bring you a lot of that today on Brews Sports. But before we do, of course, we want to talk about some of the other greatness that is taking place. It is happy hour. There is no Tika Griesbach today, unfortunately. She is lounging in the wonderful sun of Florida. So, Tika, if you're watching, hello, but I'm still very mad at you for leaving us here in the bitter cold.
And a little jealous.
And a little jealous, mostly jealous more than anything. But the gentleman sitting to my left is James Stewart. Those of you remember him from Tuesday. He co-hosted Pick 6 with Tanner Burke. So, James, welcome back to Brews Sports, sir. Great to have you.
Happy to be back.
Looking forward to it today. We've got a great show in store for folks. We're going to be talking to Dom Garrett here in just a little bit about the excitement of March Madness. Some of the games already in the books as well, too, as you can kind of see some of the earlier scores here down in the ticker below, so you can catch those if you're probably watching as well, too, right now. Some great excitement taking place. But we'll talk to Dom in just a little bit, see if his bracket's busted or not yet. Mine's still perfect. At the moment,
it's early.
At the moment, I'm still perfect. If for that, all of you that joined the Brew Sports Bracket Challenge, I'm sure you guys have been monitoring closely. It was still a handful of people are perfect as well too, but a lot. I saw that Notre Dame Providence win kind of screwed a lot of people right out the gate.
A couple
unfortunately,
people looking for a sleeper.
Yes, everybody was. So we'll get Dom's thoughts about all that in just a little bit. We're going to talk about the NBA playoffs as well too. It's not a coincidence that we're going to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks a little bit. Even if this was just, even if we weren't in Milwaukee, I feel like we would still have to talk about the Bucks because when you win 6 of your last 7, you're going to turn some heads.
And they're a hot team right now. They're finally coming together. We've heard all year they're young.
Yeah.
And while it's true, I'm sure we were all sick of hearing it, but it's true. I mean, they are young, and it takes time.
It's true. It absolutely is true about that. So we'll talk about that in a little bit more in depth. And of course, the NFL free agent market continuing to get a little bit more solidified. Latavius Murray signing with the Vikings. So we'll break all that down here in just a little bit as well too. Reminder, of course, to let us know your thoughts about anything that we talk about on the program today. Just comment below here on Facebook. Hit that share button as well too, so that way other people that love sports can be included in on the action as well. All right, James, as we move forward here with everything, I want to talk about this strange story that I found. My wife, of all people, called me today a couple hours ago, and she said, "You have to talk about this story." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Okay, well, tell me about the story." So I don't know if you've heard this or not, but apparently it is not confirmed. This is not confirmed. This is a strange coincidence that this time of year, a lot of men choose to get vasectomies, which, first of all, sounds painful, and I'm sorry to all of you that have to go through that. But the reason, supposedly, behind it is because the procedure only takes 20 minutes.
Right.
But the recovery process, here's the kicker, it takes at least 3 days.
Okay.
Which, as many folks know, the Thursday and Friday of opening day of March Madness is 2 to 3 days,
right.
of course.
And then the weekend.
You kind of connect the dots. You're like, well, hell, you cheeky little bastards there. What in the world? I don't think I love March Madness. I really do.
For sure.
But I'm not this obsessed that I would get a vasectomy to stay home. I've heard the whole calling in sick. I've heard people just taking sick days be like, "I'm not going to be there. Don't expect me to be there."
I mean, it's a stretch to get a couple days off.
It is.
But
it is.
On the other side, the recovery is basically rest, relax.
Yes, rest, relax, repeat, and
you don't have to
and
call
drink
in.
a little bit there.
Maybe you have some medical leave.
Some medical leave. Yeah, save those sick days. I mean, if you're a boss too, like, what do you say? You're going to be like, no, like, don't get surgery. Like, sorry, boss, getting a vasectomy.
Can you
Can't
say
make it
no?
in.
I don't think you can say no.
Yeah, what are you supposed to say to that, honestly? It's like, nope, not happening, sorry.
I mean, I'm not going to do it, but I get it.
Yeah, exactly. Liz, my wife here commenting, she says, I was so shocked when I found that out. She was like, it's a genius idea.
Right.
It is. But Brew makes a great point. He said, but the only problem is that the vasectomy only works for 1 year. So what do you do? It's not a repeating process. It's not like a huge, like a heart surgery or something where it's a multiple sometimes thing that you have to go back 4 years at exam.
I mean, isn't that a reversible surgery though?
Can you just go back and forth every year? Be like, I want it back. No, I can't. I want it back. Wake up. If I'm the doctor, be like, you just don't want to go to work.
Right.
Like, it's fine. Whatever. Pay me my money. I don't care, honestly.
There's got to be some other ailment we can get you home with.
Yes, I completely agree with you on that one. Yeah, Liz is saying yes. Same time every year. I mean, Maybe if you just time other surgeries, like if you get some work done, maybe, or something like some plastic surgery. But kind of a funny and strange story. David says, "Wow, Tika's had some work done since yesterday." Yes, if you're just tuning in late, this is James. Tika is in sunny Florida right now, enjoying the beach and relaxing so much. And she's a senior in college, so I get it. She works hard, got to relax a little bit. It's spring break, woo, all that fun business.
For sure.
So, yes, this is not Tika 2.0. This is James filling in today. So we're excited to have James here today. But have you ever seen or heard of any other weird traditions like that, where people like, this big thing's coming up, I got to skip out, so I'm sick, or I'm going to get a surgery, or whatever, like not fake your own death, but
Right.
something crazy like that, basically?
I mean, March Madness is definitely the big one, but I think they probably generally all come around sports.
Yes,
It's like Super
always,
Bowl
always.
Or you want to go to a big sporting event, you got to go out of town. But this is extreme.
Yes. I don't really think I've gone for school, like I've called in sick, like when I either was sick or just woke up later. I'm like, Mom, call me in sick. And my mom always would do it. Like I wouldn't have one of those parents not that she didn't want me to go to school, but like because I didn't do it very often, especially in high school, be like, Mom, not feeling the best today, kind of thing. And she's like, yeah, no problem, I got you. And usually like the front office isn't going to yell at you, be like, no, like tell your kid to get to school, kind of a thing. Like the only time it ever backfired on me, and I legit was dead in bed, like I couldn't move. I must have had the flu or something, and I was out of high school and still living at home for a little bit. I had my mom call my boss to say that I wasn't coming in, and he thought I was joking, so he fired me. And my mom came back in the room, like he told my mom on the phone, he's like, well, he doesn't have a job anymore, so forget him, basically. And my mom came back and she's like, well, Ron says you're fired. I was like, I'm sorry, what? She's like, it was, because it was a terrible job. So I was like, thank you. I was glad to be out of that. But it's not exactly something you expect to hear, though, when you're like, well, never mind.
No, definitely
you're done. So, yes, vasectomies apparently to get out of work so that way you can enjoy March Madness. When we talk to Dom Garrett here in just a moment, you can guarantee that's going to be my very first question to Dom, because, I mean, I don't know. Dom is a lover of March Madness, and we can bring him in here now as well, too. So joining us on the wonderful show that is Happy Hour is Dom Garrett. Dom, have you ever had a vasectomy? Is that too forward of a question to ask right off the bat?
No, you could ask it. No vasectomies for me.
Okay.
But I, at the same time, I do really love March Madness. So
would you consider doing something like this if you knew?
I mean, like Bruce said, it only is a year. I mean, it could be one of those. I think it really depends. Am I allowed to drink? Because I love like beer and March Madness for me go together.
That's
so
true.
If like I'm on some sort of painkillers that I'm not supposed to drink, then it's just a wash. You know what I mean? But
like I can sit at my desk and watch the game and still have my manhood.
You know what? I'm working. I've got the beer.
Hey,
We're good to go.
We are too. Cheers to you here from afar.
Cheers to you for the madness.
Clink, clink. Yes, exactly. We love the madness here at Brew Sports. So talk to us. We've already seen the madness. How was your bracket, first of all? Is it still good to go?
Just like you, 100% perfect. We are
really
good.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So you didn't have the Notre Dame Providence upset that everybody and their mother was trying to vote for.
No, I didn't. But I tell you what, I was sweating it. It's the first one.
Yes.
I'm out on the West Coast, so I'm firing up the laptop to start watching stuff at 9:15 in the morning, and I had a heart attack by 11. So
you're like, please do not do that.
Yeah, I mean Notre Dame played a sloppy game. There was quite a few times that just like watching them in the game, they were just. They seemed lost almost. Like they were just sort of looking around, seeing what was going on. Bonzie Coleman, Mr. Double-Double, he was playing on a tweaked ankle. Wasn't looking good, but they ended up pulling off the win. Same thing happened with Virginia too. They were down to UNC Wilmington by, I think it was like 14, 15 points in the first half. It looks like it was going to be one of those just like blowouts where what happened to Virginia, but they ended up getting the ship righted and everything was fine. So,
well, one of the other finals that just went a little while ago was Gonzaga winning by 20, and that was for those that watched halftime today, Tanner Burke was going on a rant saying there's going to be a 16 seed that upsets the 1 seed. It's going to be this game. I was like, I don't think so. But then the way the game started, where this was such a close game, I was like, I swear to you, Tanner, if you got this pick right. But Gonzaga riding the ship. But does that slowness, though, that start of Gonzaga, should that worry Gonzaga fans now the rest of the tournament?
No, I don't really think so. I think that Coach Hughes will get everything taken care of here. I'm not really that worried about it. I think that the biggest thing that I picked up from that Gonzaga game is, the fact that team that they played normally averages like about 80 points a game. So while Gonzaga did slow down a little bit on offense, their defense still showed up. And that's what ends up really winning games like this. You hardly ever see a game in March that's just like some sort of an offensive just shootout. You need to have the defense that's there. And, that's what ends up winning the games this time of year. So I'm not really worried about Gonzaga. I still don't think that Gonzaga is going to make the Final Four. I mean, I'm holding strong with that pick. You can win by 20 over South Dakota. It's not going to change my mind.
You're supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it'll be I think Gonzaga is going to be fine going into the next game, but they're going to have to show up a lot more than they did this one.
How much do you think? It seems like the first half of all these games is kind of close. Is that a trend you think we're going to keep seeing, that you're not really going to know what's going to happen until the second half when the more dominant team reveals itself?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what you see, especially with the fact that, a lot of these games that we've watched we've only had one 16 game that we've actually seen, a 1 in a 16 scheme. We've seen a couple of 4-13s. West Virginia and Bucknell just went final, and West Virginia won by 6. That game was kind of close, but then again, these teams that are in these 4, 5, 6 that are playing these, like 13, 12, 11 teams, like those matchups are a lot more even than some of these seedings might actually make you think. So that's why those games are ending up being a little bit closer. But I think that when you start to see Kentucky, when you see UNC, when you see Duke, when you see Louisville, when you see these teams play, they're probably going to end up being more lopsided than what we're seeing right now.
So with the rest of the games coming up tonight, do you have any games circled right now? I know Northwestern and Vanderbilt are playing right now, which a lot of folks are excited about. It's 27-24 right now with 3:11 to go in the first half. But Xavier, Maryland is later on tonight. You've got that surprise, maybe Vermont, Purdue, Wisconsin, of course. Virginia Tech is a big one. Any other games that you've got on your radar the rest of the evening that I know you're probably going to have circled that you're going to be keeping a closer eye on?
For sure. I am definitely going to keep a close eye on that Maryland, on the Maryland Xavier game. That one tips off here in about 40 minutes or so. About an hour and 40 minutes. The Purdue Vermont game I think is going to be really interesting, just because I think that matchup. I'm interested to see how Purdue comes out, because they ended the Big Ten season a couple of really close games, ended the tournament losing to Michigan, obviously. I want to see how they're going to come out there, if Caleb Swanigan is going to show up like the Big Ten player of the year that he is. The other one I would say Wisconsin Virginia Tech matchup is going to be good. Anytime you get an 8-9, it's as close to a game as you can possibly have. I mean, those are the games as a frequent gambler, those are the ones I stay away from because I have no idea what's going to happen. It's basically a coin flip. I just sit back with a beer and watch that. But I also think that Florida Gulf Coast, Florida State is going to be fun. Just anytime you get an in-state matchup like that, I think that it sort of brings down the gap a little bit because these teams really show up and they want to play. I feel like we'll see a little bit of that in the first half of Northern Kentucky versus Kentucky. But in both of those games, I think the doors are going to end up getting blown off in the second half, and you'll see the blue chips rise to the top.
Talking with Dom Garrett here on Happy Hour. Dom, one of the things that we talked about earlier today on Brew Sports on halftime, Tanner Burke with me at halftime was making a bit of a fuss about the in-state matchups, because he's like, why are FSU, Florida Gulf Coast University, and Florida all playing in Florida? He's like, is it an attendance thing? He's like, I think it's kind of ridiculous that these three teams, and even Kentucky, he's like, why are these interstate teams playing each other, and especially why are they playing so close to home as well too? He's like, is it a ratings thing? Is it a ticket thing? He's like, why? What's up with all of this? And I was fine with it. I'm like, I think it adds an extra, level of intensity, and I think that is what you ultimately want this time of year. But is there some specific reason that, these teams were selected the way they were to play each other, that obviously have closer ties to each other?
Yeah, I mean, the selection committee does stuff like this all the time. I think part of it, honestly, probably does have to do with ticket sales. If you're going to be able to put it right together, put them in the same bracket, put them up in an in-state, it's the most fun for those schools. I have no problem with it. I don't think it's for ratings, because I don't think it necessarily is going to make more people tune in. But if you're going to get more people in there, I was watching the games this morning, and granted, the fact that some of these games are being played in like Dayton and Buffalo, like, I'm sorry, Tanner, but Buffalo's not necessarily a place I really want to go. So,
right.
The travel there, you want to be able to get the fans out there for the first round, for the second round. Those games, you always see, unless you're a primetime game, you're basically seeing empty seats. So if you have a chance to fill it, and you have a chance to, not make a Florida Gulf Coast have to fly to Sacramento
right.
to play the game, like keep them at home. And anytime you could reward a 2 seed or a 3 seed or something like that. Like last year, Michigan State was upset they weren't a 1 seed, but they still got to play in Chicago. Mm-hmm. So granted, they lost, but they still got to play in Chicago. So I think sometimes the selection committee does, keep things close to home there, and make it so that it's worth being a 3 seed or a 2 seed.
Yeah, it may be a coincidence, but you also, you look at like Marquette, for example. If Marquette makes it out of the first round, Marquette Duke, so Wojo playing Duke for the first time. So it does kind of make you wonder, are they setting these things up, or is it?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're kind of setting them up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what the NIT did, right? They put Jim Boeheim in Syracuse right up against Charleston, right? So it's like the NIT, because they're the NIT, can go like full troll if they want to, and they do. And I personally think that they should do it a whole lot more. Like I guarantee you that the viewership for the NIT games like that is just so much better. But you have to assume that the committee is like at least tipping the hat a little bit towards like, come on, we want to see Coach K and Wojo. Like that would be fun. I think they did it a lot for Virginia against Michigan State, because that was such a big matchup that happened so many times in a row. They just always ended up, I swear, it was like every other year, like we're in a bracket in the same region, and like to go to the Elite Eight, you're going to have to play one of those two teams. And, it creates a level of familiarity. It creates a level of intrigue. It gives you these teams have faced off this many times, and here's the series totals. I think that those are fun things to see there.
I would agree with you on that one. Last question from me. Kurt on Facebook asks a very important question, which I'm curious to get your opinion about. Is it Gonzaga or Gonzaga?
I don't know, man. Like I feel like I feel being out on the West Coast. They're right here in Washington.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of Gonzaga, because they're the Zags, right? They're not the Zogs.
No.
Right? So you'd say Gonzaga. But I think some people say Gonzaga. I don't know.
I feel like you have to be like a little snooty, like, oh, Gonzaga.
Yeah. Gonzaga. I'm going to watch Gonzaga tonight. No, yeah, I understand that completely. But
there's really not a right answer for that then, from what I'm gathering from you.
I think the correct answer, I think the way you pronounce it is they're not going to the Final Four. That's the way you actually say the name is Elite Eight and bust.
There you go. I like that. All right, Dom, good stuff from you. Where can people continue to find your exciting work and your social media handle as well?
Yeah, you can find me online at Dom Garrett. You can also make sure to follow everything Michigan State at The Only Colors and theonlycolors.com, and then check out ridingthepine.co, taking down the Sweet 16 of Taco Bell menu items. So be on the lookout for that one.
See, I heard there was, who was it? Mike and Mike were talking about like the famous college alumni like bracket challenge, and I was trying to find better brackets. I'm like, I'm a sucker for the like crazy obscure brackets that it's like, or like the Mariah Carey versus Oprah versus Taylor Swift and Ashton Kutcher. Like I love those brackets. I'm like, I need more of these in my life. So as soon as you guys release that, please send us a copy because we will be all over that.
We do also have a famous but not quite as famous as the most famous bracket based on alums that's coming out too. So
I look forward
that's some great SEO right there.
I was about to say,
famous is the most famous.
Good stuff, Dom. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon, sir.
All right, have fun, guys.
All right, will do. There goes Dom Garrett, one of our college basketball insiders here on the Brew Sports Network. Some great insight from him. Always love hearing what he has to say. A couple of other things here. On the Facebook world, Tanner says it's Zags, not Zogs. I understand that. And then you have a lot of people just shouting you out. Chad says, Jimmy! Now you have to remind me how to say your wife's name. Marisa. She says, James! And then a couple other people. Kelly says, Dom, are you drinking as well? Indeed he is, Kelly. It's a wonderful
It is happy hour.
It is happy hour. What are you supposed to do at happy hour? Sit here and just talk normally? It's not acceptable. It's not what Brew Sports is, honestly. But so you're getting some serious love there.
Well,
so,
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. The fans love you. The fans love
It's
you.
still early though.
A quick check in here on some of the scores. West Virginia has defeated Bucknell 86-80. Despite a 47-point second half from Bucknell, the Bison could not overtake the Mountaineers. Florida currently has a 64-52 lead with 3:06 to go in the game. If Florida ends up winning, that would be my first blemish on my bracket if that ultimately ends up happening. Praying that that's not the case, but
that'd still be good.
Eastern Tennessee. I mean, I've only got Eastern Tennessee going to the next round and then losing to Virginia, who already won. So It doesn't fully shatter my hopes and dreams, but at the same time, anything that can keep my bracket as perfect as possible.
I played it pretty safe, so I'm still good.
You're still good. You went with the Florida pick on that one.
Yep.
Earlier scores: Gonzaga 66-46 over South Dakota State. Notre Dame 60-58 over Princeton. Butler beat Winthrop 76-64. Virginia 76-71. Halftime is Middle Tennessee and Minnesota. Middle Tennessee leads by 6. 37-31. Northwestern up 34-27 at the half against Vandy. So some great stuff. Xavier, Maryland tipping off here in a little over an hour. I'm going to be watching the Wisconsin game tonight with my wife. We're really jacked up about that one. We're not like massive basketball fans, but we enjoy the tournament. And my wife played basketball when she was younger, and she called me today and she's like, I'm honestly hyped for watching basketball right now. I was like, good for you, because she's not a big sports gal, but she was just super psyched about it because she's like, she's been like texting me every 10 minutes, like, how's my bracket looking? I'm like, sweetie, you can check it yourself. Like you joined the Brew Sports Challenge. I'm like, you can check it and see how you're doing. I mean, I can look right now as well too and see I still am at 100%, and she is also. You're still, if you're watching, sweetheart, you're at 100%. You're still good to go. You've got all 50 points available currently. So
now, did you pick her bracket or did she pick
She
yours?
picked it independently. We did sit next to each other on the couch, but we like hid our screens from each other. And then like we said, 1, 2, 3, and we showed our screens, and we had totally different picks for a lot of different things. So she has Duke winning the national championship. I have Michigan winning the national championship. That Michigan pick might ultimately end up, derailing my bracket, but I think it makes for a good storyline if they do even get to the Elite Eight or the Final Four, honestly. So I feel pretty safe about the rest of my bracket overall. Do you have your bracket in front of you at all?
I do. I got it up, yeah.
Who were either some of your surprises or your Final Four teams, if you don't mind sharing?
Well, my Final Four is Duke, Gonzaga. So,
okay.
After that last guess, I don't know about that anymore. Louisville and UCLA. So
okay.
I got a Grayson Allen and Lonzo Ball championship.
I wonder how many people purposely didn't pick UCLA in the Final Four just so they can shut up LeVar Ball.
See, that's why I picked
go
him.
away. You did. You want the hatred. You're like, bring it
Why
on.
not, right? You got Grayson Allen who's tripping everybody,
Yep.
and then you got
Lonzo himself
Ball.
isn't saying much. It's
Right.
but you get the dad.
The
Though.
dad's
You get
coming with it.
LeVar, who is going to just cause the
who
problems.
seems to be everywhere right now. I mean,
He's honestly the most annoying person I've ever heard of.
it's working though. I mean, maybe that $1 billion doesn't sound too crazy.
At this point, yeah, I'd be like, look, you've got a brand that everybody's going to talk about because everybody wants to talk about Lonzo and LeVar and LaMelo and I forget the third one, LiAngelo. There we go. I don't think I'm ever going to do that with my kids, though. I feel like
I'm going to stay away from
my
that
son's
one.
name is Beckham, so I'm not going to go with like Breckham and Braden and Braxton. Like I would just be like, stop. I'd be like, you, come here. I don't know your name anymore because it's all too close together. That's why I'm praying for like a girl next to like mix it up.
Yeah, make it easy on
Pick a
yourself.
different letter, hopefully. We'll have to see. Aaron says that he picked Princeton, so moment of silence for Aaron picking Princeton. Sorry about that, bud. 0 points right out of the gate, but there's always other ones. Max says that he wants to party with you, and he also has Arizona all day apparently.
I mean, if he's buying beer,
That's the
I'm
thing.
ready to
like,
party.
James and I are pretty straightforward with this, guys. If you want us to come party with you, or especially James, who everybody on the Facebook comments loves, apparently, he's available. It's a very simple price. Buy the man a beer.
Right
That's
here.
how I got him on the show. I said, James, I'll buy you a beer. He's like, what time do I need to be there? I'm like, all right, everybody.
Car's already started. I'm on
Everybody
my way.
wins. Yep, exactly. I'm already en route. It's like it worked out perfectly that way. So, all right, changing gears here briefly out of the bracketology to we'll keep you obviously updated on scores here as we continue to roll along to the NFL free agency. NFL.com has their top 101 available free agents. I didn't realize. I guess there was maybe that many free agents, but there are that are out there. The highest rated free agent that has yet to sign is the man, the myth, the legend, Adrian Peterson. He's shown interest from Seattle, interest from Oakland. I'm curious to get your thoughts because I've heard a lot of consistent talk from other folk on the network about where they think he should go or what will ultimately end up happening. But what do you personally feel as someone that you've been vocal about it, you support the Packers, but where do you ultimately think, though, that a guy like Adrian Peterson's going to end up?
I mean, I'd love to have him with the Packers.
Of course, I would too.
It's about price tag with the Packers. So, I mean, I doubt he's coming to Green Bay. I guess with him at this point in his career, I don't think he's finding a solo job.
No.
So, I mean, even, they're saying that there's interest from Minnesota who just signed Murray. So, does he want to stay?
I was hoping Green Bay was going to sign Murray, honestly.
It would have been nice.
I was very hopeful.
But, again, Green Bay is going to throw the ball. So, a scat back or a receiving back is probably best for them. But as far as AP, I mean, Oakland could be nice. Again, just lost Murray. So.
I don't know if that's much of an upgrade, though. Like, obviously, as a team, you try to replace. You're just basically saying, we lost a younger AP. Right. Here's the older version of AP. Go just run the ball now.
With AP, you're wondering how much is left in the tank.
Of course, yep. The age-old debate about that, too, yes.
But, I mean, he is a freak athlete.
He is.
So, I mean,
he's a hard
if anyone's
guy.
going to keep running at that age, it's going to be him.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I just want to go back to a comment here. Max, by the way, says he's got you for your beer, so he's got you. Apologies for the pronunciation on this one. I think is it Rosine or Roseanne? Roseanne. She says, Marquette alum here. How far will Marquette go? Well, Roseanne, it really depends on who you ask because in my bracket, Marquette is my shock pick of my bracket. I have Marquette all the way to the Elite Eight, and I know some people have been very vocal about the stupidity of that, and I'm just under the firm belief that Marquette will just be able to shoot their threes all day and no one will be able to touch them. But I also know that that's a very hard thing to consistently fire up as well, too. It's kind of like an old car. It's like, she runs like a dream when it starts, but if it never starts, it never turns over. It doesn't mean it's going to obviously work.
I got him falling the Duke, unfortunately.
And that was my hang-up. As soon as I saw the Marquette Duke, because I'm like, Troy's not going to be Duke. I was like, come on, let's move past that. And I'm like, Marquette Duke. I'm like, I could see Grayson tripping too many people and Marquette sinking a couple of late threes and then sealing the deal. So realistically, I don't think they're going to go that far.
That's the thing with a team that shoots a lot of threes. I mean, it's been a Wisconsin thing forever.
Right.
Live and die by the three. And
you're right.
If they get hot, they can beat anyone. But If they're not, then
That's
they get blown out.
That's the big thing. Yeah, Corey agrees with you on that one. Says Marquette is good, but probably not that good. Yes, you're absolutely right. My bracket is not a true reflection of how I think they will actually do. Marquette, I feel like, is...
You end up picking with your heart a little
bit. Yes, exactly. I'm not a Marquette fan, but I think that if you're looking for a storyline, as I do, I look for the storylines. I think Marquette is in a decent spot to do that.
I mean, it'd be awesome for Wojo to go and beat his old team.
Absolutely.
That's the storyline right there. Is that he goes back to the mentor, if you will, and teacher becomes the student, and
kind of like Star Wars all over again.
Exactly.
Spoilers if you've never seen Star Wars. Sorry, guys. If you haven't seen Star Wars, we can't be friends anymore. But
I don't think it's going to happen, though.
You don't think that Marquette is going to? Yeah, I think you enjoy the round of 32 Marquette, but don't pack a bag for the following weekend, honestly, in my personal opinion. So anyway, I appreciate the comments. Keep those guys coming in. Andrew says here on Facebook, actually, we'll get to Tanner first. He said, could beat or lose to any team, hashtag Team Brick, Team MU. Okay, Tanner, calm down. Hashtag, he's a Marquette alum. Andrew jumping in here with the Packers AP debacle. He says, Ty is a scat back, so we need a bruiser for goal line and short yardage. AP would be sweet, but this draft is heavy at running back, so my guess is that they go where your thoughts. So my guess is they go there, and then he asks our thoughts on some running backs in the draft that the Packers could get.
The problem with that is, ideally, yes, I'd agree with that, 100%.
Yes.
But the Packers aren't going to run their running back like a bruiser.
They're not.
And they had a bruiser. They had Eddie Lacy, and they ran him on the edge.
This isn't Dorsey Levens or Amon Green from back in the day, where those were your run and gun bruisers.
Even still, they don't run that. They just don't run that kind of offense.
They don't. And if they need a bruiser, they're going to give it to Ripkowski.
Right, exactly.
They're not going to give it to their elite running back at the goal line.
The only bruising is, Ripkowski up the middle, and it's for short yardage. They're just not going to – you had Eddie Lacy.
Right.
Who should be running over anyone under
You'd
250.
think. Well, and that's the thing. He now is probably heavier than most starting linemen, linebackers, and safeties. He's like, just jump on my back, guys. We're going to go for a ride. But it's not the Marshawn Lynch beast mode. He's not like
He's not. He's a little more.
He's not a churner. He's just like, you hit me. Oh no. He just like curls up and falls to the ground.
We'll see though. I mean, he could be changing again. When the Packers run him around the edge, you don't have the ability to run like that because you're always running sideways. So we'll see. They obviously he's not Marshawn Lynch, but they're going to try to use him like that.
And I think that's nothing wrong with that. I think that Eddie Lacy needs a rejuvenation of his career, and I think Pete Carroll is a little bit more vocal than Mike McCarthy is.
And a little bit more player-friendly. I mean, he's guy's
true.
Best friend. So
yeah, exactly. That's the big thing. So, Andrew, to answer your question, if they were to go for running back, Christian McCaffrey will likely be around at that point. I don't know if you want to spend a first-round draft pick on Christian McCaffrey. From what I've
Ted's not doing a first-round
That's
pick.
the thing. And from what I've been hearing, even from ESPN's Rob Domofsky, the Packers need to go for a cornerback in the first round, even though they signed Devon House. Devon House is not the answer, newsflash, Packer fans. So all you that are freaking out, like, we got a quarterback. He used to be a Packer. We got rid of him. Right. Now we brought him back. Read. Understand history. Like, if we
it's on a one-year deal.
Exactly.
So that tells you exactly what.
So the problems have not been solved. If we were really serious, we would have gone out and traded for Casey Hayward or something. That, like, if there was anybody that I'm really mad that we let go of, it's Casey Hayward. The Packers had no reason to get rid of him, and now he's insane. So keep an eye on that. Corey on Facebook says, breaking news, Eddie to be the new favor of Weight Watchers. I see you, Corey, making jokes. Aaron says that apparently I would have picked Starbucks to win my bracket. I do think, and I'm honestly, and this has nothing to do with Starbucks, but like I love the brackets where it's like, hey, here are like the top 32 food items or the top 32 brands or whatever. Right. Like I love those brackets. If anybody knows where I can find a bracket like that, please send me a link or tweet me at Baxter Colburn or comment it in the sections below because I love those. I've done those with celebrities before. I've done those with movies before. Absolutely all about them. So if you know where they are, please send me.
If you get one of those, let me know because I'll be in on it too.
I could not find it for the life of me. I was doing research last night. I was doing it today. No luck. I'm like, how hard is it to find, I literally Googled, funny brackets or cool brackets or whatever. Like I was trying all these different searches and nothing was coming up. I'm like, somebody out there has done this before because I've done it before.
Yeah.
So I'm like, where did I get it before? So I have no idea. Andrew says a lot of people have McCaffrey going early second round. Well, the running back is, he said, but if he fell to the pack, I would hope that they would take him with no running back on our team. Yeah, and that's the thing, too. If you're a Packer fan, do you want them to re-sign Christian Michael? I don't know if you do. He wasn't terrible last year. I think he's that catcher out of the backfield. Right. You got Ty that
it
can
seemed
kind
like
of
for me,
divert as well,
I don't
too.
think he had the pace of the offense. It seemed like he hit the hole at full speed and didn't. You saw once Ty kind of became a little more patient. That's when he really started to. You really started to feel like, okay, maybe he is a running back moving forward,
right,
not just this receiver out of the backfield. He definitely needs help, though. They can't go into the season with just Ty Montgomery.
No, that's the thing, and I'm sure. I think if you're a Packer fan, you need to breathe and know that Ted Thompson will draft at least one running back, and he'll always draft a wide receiver somewhere between the 3rd and 5th round because Ted Thompson's notorious.
And it'll be one
this.
you never heard of.
It will be, and then he'll end up being the next whatever Randall Cobb, and people are like, oh my gosh, like. Honestly, I was sad that Trevor Davis didn't get more opportunities this year because I liked what I saw.
He's exactly kind of what they needed for so long, and they tried it with Jeff Janis, but it didn't work out. They needed that guy, especially when Jordy was
Jeff Janis
out.
Go, Packer fans.
Yes, please.
Stop with the Jeffy J's. Just let him go.
But they needed that guy that could kind of take the top off the defense, and they didn't have it especially when Jordy was out.
Incredible speed.
But Aaron's. Rodgers is one of those guys that it seems like if he doesn't trust you, you're not getting the ball. You're not even getting that look.
You're right.
Which is why Jordy is kind of fed the ball.
Yeah.
An incredible amount. I mean, if you're playing fantasy and it's a PPR, Jordy's
your guy.
Yeah.
Take Jordy.
He's getting 10, 15 looks a game just because when Aaron's in trouble, that's where he's going.
And this might be too early of a conversation to have, but is Jordy Nelson, after the season he had last year, a first-round fantasy draft pick this year? I know that might be a bit early to ask that kind of a question, but I feel like it's a conversation that could be had.
If it's not PPR, then no.
It's not, okay.
But if it is PPR, you have to think about it. Because again, the amount they throw the ball, and if they don't do anything at running back, if they come in with Ty Montgomery, they're going to throw the ball.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
You know where it's going to go.
Exactly. It's always going to Jordy. So
even in the beginning of the season when Cook was there, it took a little bit to build that rapport, so I'm assuming it's going to be the same thing with Martellus Bennett.
I would agree with you on that one.
Cobb tends to disappear. You never know what you're going to get from Devontae Adams. Either they're going to have 200 yards or 2 yards.
Yep.
So, I mean, Jordy is going to get the ball.
Yes, always. I completely agree with you on that one. Yeah, Packer fans, focus on the secondary, focus on getting a pass rush. There's an idea. And focus on getting a running back at some point. So
I'd stay away from the defense, though.
From a draft perspective? Or really?
As far as fantasy. The Packers need to worry about
defense. Yes. I was like, I don't understand.
The Packers need to defense. Do a lot on the defensive end, and I'm sure they'll do it in the draft, which will make, 3-4 years that has basically all been defensive picks.
Basically, yeah.
So,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But at the same time, they got rid of Dayton Jones, too. So.
And Peppers.
I don't know. But, yeah, well, Peppers, I mean, I'm saying, like, they drafted Dayton Jones and then let him go. But, yeah, the Peppers thing was a little surprising to me personally. So,
I mean, good for him, though. He goes home to Carolina.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you can't be too mad about that. It's like he's going home to be with the family and friends that he grew up with for so many years, and he's going to finish out his career. Maybe he'll play this year. Maybe he'll play 2 years.
Right.
Maybe he'll play 3. You don't know.
And it's, they're not that far from contending. I know a rough year last year, but they're still a good team.
Right. I completely agree with you on that one. A special thanks to all of you that continue to keep commenting as well, too. Remember to hit that share button as we continue to move along with the program. If you missed anything earlier, you can go to our website as well, brewsportsnet.com, to check out this episode and, of course, here on the Facebook page as well. And don't forget to tell your friends as well. I mean, you sharing obviously continues to open up a whole new world to people when it comes to how they consume their sports knowledge. So appreciate you guys for doing that. Moving out of the free agent world, something that you have a little bit more knowledge about than I do, but something I still find interesting at times is the NBA. The NBA right now is getting down to the wire for playoffs. And a team that this has, I need to preface this by saying this has nothing to do with us being in Milwaukee, and I think I said that at the top of the show as well too. But the Milwaukee Bucks have won 6 of their last 7 games. When's the last time as a Bucks fan, which I'm not, as a Bucks fan, do you remember those words being uttered? You know?
It's been a while.
It's been a long time since the Bucks have won 6 of their last 7. They just beat the Clippers last night by a point on national TV, which I think does wonders for their appearance.
They've played well on national TV.
Clippers are the 5th best team in the West. It's not like they were just out beating the Lakers or the Suns.
which hopefully they'll beat the Lakers tomorrow.
That's the hope.
This road trip here is going to be really crucial for them. You fall to Memphis. I don't know if you want to say steal one, but you steal one from the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have the Lakers, Golden State, Portland, and Sacramento. So if you win the games that you're supposed to win, being Lakers and Sacramento, you walk away 3-3.
Not terrible.
Maybe you can steal one from Portland. They've got their center is going right now. They got him from Denver, but still, you got Lillard and McCollum, which is a pretty dynamic duo.
Right.
And I don't know that's a lot of scoring to come from your point guard and shooting guard. I don't know that the Bucks necessarily are going to be able to keep up with that. But again, let's say you take that one, you go home above 500 on this road trip. You're really looking good, considering that you still, you're in the 7 seed right now. You still play the Bulls, you still play the Pistons, and you still play Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
So you really kind of control your destiny as far as the playoffs.
You do, and that's what you were saying too. If this team ultimately ends up going 3-3 to finish out the season, they will go 36-37, which
right.
You're a game under 500. Not the worst, but at the same time, that you're putting yourself in that 6 to maybe 7 seed spot. As long as you don't have to deal with Cleveland in the first round, I think you'd like to think you at least have a half a chance, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I know they've played Cleveland well this year too.
Yes,
but
and Boston
if
could
you can avoid
Boston could overtake Cleveland too. So you still might end up getting screwed
right.
by having to deal with Cleveland at some point, of course. Ultimately, you'd love to play like a Washington or a Toronto, of course, first round, but
I think
they're not going to
Toronto,
get that high.
I think Toronto is actually – Cleveland and Toronto are the two teams that I don't want to see. They just haven't played well against Toronto historically. I know, they won the last game, but that's no Kyle Lowry. So
right.
When he comes back, it's a whole different story. And they definitely still have some gelling to do as far as Toronto because, the addition of Ibaka and P.J. Tucker is kind of – those are two pretty big pieces to add to their team.
Right.
And they lose Terrence Ross, Terrence Ross was a Buck killer. So, as a Bucks fan, I'm not upset to see him leave.
You're just like, okay, let's just anytime we can get rid of him,
right.
that would be perfect, honestly. Yeah, looking across the overall playoffs, Golden State, San Antonio, the Rockets all have already clinched playoff spots. In the West, the West is still a little up for grab in terms of the last spot because there's a 6-game difference between Memphis, who's in 7th place, and the Nuggets, who are in 8th place. So you'd like to think that the 1 through 7 are going to virtually stay the same, not necessarily seeding-wise, but those 7 teams are going to stay where they need to. But Denver and Portland and Dallas, maybe Dallas, I don't know about that, but Denver and Portland are going to try to battle each other out for that final playoff spot. And I think obviously Portland would be better for the playoffs overall than
like
the Nuggets had got going on.
The center that they got from the Nuggets has really kind of come on this month, who is really kind of a thing that they were missing ever since LaMarcus Aldridge left. But I believe it's Yusuf Nurkic. I might not be saying that right, but just basically in the month of March, he's averaging 14 and a half with, let's see here, 10.3 rebounds. So you've added a guy that's going to average a double-double for you.
Right.
In a spot where you've needed it, especially, like I said before, with those two guards, I mean, you're kind of filling out that team, but it is the West.
Yes.
If
the
they're
West
in
is
the
brutal.
East, it's a completely different
You're right.
Conversation, but...
Yeah, you look at the East, I mean, 6th through 11th right now is all just within like 2 or 3 games of each other, basically.
Right, exactly.
So you win a game, you lose a game here or there, like that completely changes your playoff picture.
Yes. I mean, in the East, there's still going to be a lot of before the end of the season, and that's why it'll be fun, as a Bucks fan, to watch that because every game now counts, that much more because we won 1 game and bumped up a spot. We lose 2 games and we're out.
Yep.
So it's going to be
similar to
this road trip is going to be fun and frustrating.
Yes.
Possibly.
Yes, you're absolutely right about that. Going back to college basketball here for a brief moment, we have another final as Florida has defeated East Tennessee State 80-65, and my bracket is no longer perfect, unfortunately. Like I said, though, I didn't have East Tennessee going very far, so from an overall points perspective, I'm not terribly mad about that, but I do wonder as my page loads. So there are folks that are still perfect.
I'm one of them.
You are still one of them. Trying to see where my lovely wife is now. She may still, if my page wants to load, I think my wife might actually still be perfect, aside from already being perfect. Sorry, got to get the edit in there. No, she's not, unfortunately, at least in the brackets here. But still about, let's see here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I think about 16 brackets are still perfect so far in the Brew Sports Challenge. So congratulations to all of you. We just heard from Dom Garrett, and he leads us thus far, along with Ryan Thies and a couple other folks as well, too. Tika, who's not here, she's got a perfect bracket currently as well. Check her out.
I'm sure she's watching.
She is,
Florida.
I'm sure. She's probably poolside on her phone just being like, oh, look at that. Got another one right. Martini, thank
perfect
you.
Perfect day, perfect bracket.
Yep.
What do you know?
Must be nice. Must be nice. Andrew makes a good point. He said live in LA finally got to watch, live in LA finally got to watch the Bucks play on TV, and they looked good. I think they can give whoever they play first round, a run. Who do you guys want to see in the first round? Well, we kind of did briefly just talk about that, Andrew, if you missed any of that. Ultimately, as James was saying, you don't want to see Cleveland, you don't want to see Toronto. Isaiah Thomas in Boston has been just an absolute nightmare for anybody that they've had to play this year. So really, I mean, I'd like to see the Pacers. I'd like to see the Pistons, but the Bucks would have to go in the standings, which is not going to happen. Even if they won out,
Wizards would be okay.
I would be fine with the Wizards. You would have to be the 6th seed to play the Wizards, which is doable.
Again, you do play the Pacers again.
Yes,
so.
It is doable. You got 2 games behind the Pacers, so I wouldn't be mad at. I think if you're a Bucks fan, if you get the 6th seed, I don't think you have to be mad about this season overall.
I mean, if you get the 6th seed, I think it doesn't matter what you do.
I agree.
I think that when the season started, there was a lot of hype. You were supposed to have Giannis, you're supposed to have Jabari, you're supposed to have Middleton.
Yeah.
And Greg Monroe coming off the bench.
Yep.
But those 3, specifically Giannis, Middleton, and Parker, were supposed to play together for a full season
day
for the
in,
first
day
time.
out. Yep.
Which
lasted briefly.
I mean, it lasted about 2 quarters because you lost Middleton before the season.
Right.
And the night you finally get Middleton back, you lose Jabari in the same game. So it's like, for them,
classic Bucks.
For them, of course, that they went through that tough stretch where I think they lost. It was like 13 out of 17 or something like that. But anyway, for them, they went through that tough stretch. We're having to relearn,
right? Because
they had spent an entire season with just Jabari, and Jabari and Chris are not the same player.
They're not.
So you lose basically a slasher, and you get back a shooter. But now Giannis has been basically running this offense, and you get back Chris, who's more of a calming effect, and can run the offense as well. So now you have to figure out, okay, who's going to take the last shot?
Right.
Who's going to do? And you saw it last night in the end of the game. It started out with Chris, and then he gave it to Giannis. But I mean, I think they're still gelling as far as getting back to playing with Chris. And then, of course, Delly was new.
Right.
Brogdon
Can we call Delly officially a failure?
Is that
hard to say?
I don't think so. I think the tough part is that Delly wasn't a starter in Cleveland.
Right.
So you bring him here and you give him a different role. Second, you don't really. The plan was never really to have that much scoring from your point guard.
That's true. You guys want a guy that can distribute the ball.
Exactly. So
keep the offense moving.
You wanted a guy that was a 3-and-D guy, hit a couple threes, play some defense, bring some leadership.
Change it up. Yeah. Yep.
So
he's a championship winner.
Right.
Knows what it takes to get there.
Exactly. Brogdon emerged for most Milwaukee fans out of nowhere. I mean, no one saw that coming. So that was kind of. I think the big problem is we're always comparing Brogdon and Delly as saying, who do we want to start?
Yes.
It's been a little bit better with Brogdon starting and Delly coming off the bench. But again, Delly was never supposed to be this superstar point guard. You needed a guy that was going to facilitate between Giannis, Middleton, and Parker.
Right.
And when you lose Chris, you lose a shooter now, which makes Delly shooting that much more important. I mean, it's not like he's a 50% three-point shooter or something. He was kind of a role player in Cleveland. He was a role player in Cleveland.
He was.
And was
going
to basically come here and do the same thing. So I don't know if you can necessarily call him a bust.
But at the same time, you can't be thrilled too badly, though. Because, I mean, I feel like it's hard to justify the fact that he has done. If you had to give him a grade, I feel like you have to give him like a C minus, maybe, or a C, because I feel like he hasn't done enough to justify people being okay with the signing so far.
Well, I think the main thing that people are upset with is the money.
Of course. It's always about that money.
But, I mean, you look at, just in comparison, what Middleton's making compared to what Delly's making, okay, yes, Middleton is a much more impactful player. But with the whole, the new CBA and all the money jump, it's all confusing, and it's got people
Right.
upset.
That's true. A couple other things here. Andrew, again, has been hitting us with the Bucks questions today, so appreciate that, Andrew. He says, the guys on TV last night were saying that they play better D without Jabari. What do you guys think? I didn't get a chance to see the game last night. Did you get a chance to catch it?
I did.
Your thoughts about the defense without Jabari?
I think it's definitely a little more smooth flowing, but Jabari, again, we're dealing with the type of player that we're dealing with. Everyone's upset for Delly because he's not this mold.
Right.
But he was never that mold. Everyone's now saying that Jabari is not this. Jabari's not here to play defense.
That's true.
He's here to score.
He's a scorer. That's what they drafted him for.
Right. And it's not like they play, man-to-man defense and locking up.
Yep,
and
exactly.
He's just getting beat every time. They play a pretty fast-paced and hectic defense. So, yes, I would say that the substitution of bringing Middleton back has been better defensively, but that's also because now instead of, say, Middleton and Jabari on the court, you have Middleton and Tony Snell, who Tony Snell is probably their best defender,
right? Other
than Middleton and Giannis. So there you have those three kind of able to take – either one of them can be matched up on your best score on the opposite team. Jabari's not that guy.
Exactly. I think that was the big thing. I mean, offensively, if you want the ball in the net, you give the ball to Jabari. Right. But if you want someone to play lockdown defense, you throw a guy like Giannis or somebody else that is a little bit more physical overall, or even Greg Monroe when he decides to wake up at times too.
I mean, you always hear the comparison of Jabari and Melo. Yeah, I think Jabari's a lot more athletic than Melo, but
absolutely.
Let's just go with that comparison. For example, as far as Melo he's a scorer. He's not there to play defense.
Pure scorer, yeah.
Yes, he has to play defense. We want him to play defense, but in all reality, he's not there to play defense.
No. He never has and never really will be. Eric on Facebook says, I'm so sick of the Packers free agency. I'm finally excited for the Bucks and hopefully a good Brewers season. And other Wisconsin teams as well too. So appreciate that, Eric. I know we're definitely, as James and I are both Packer fans, hopeful for that as well too. Quick score checks here for you on the NCAA tournament. Middle Tennessee leads 62-49 over Minnesota with 8:42 to play in the game. Selection committee, if you're watching, how'd that 5 seed for Minnesota feel? Is that a good idea? You feel good about that one? Yeah, I didn't think so.
That might be my first.
The famous 5-12
That'll
debacle.
be my first misstep.
Vandy is trailing by 9 to Northwestern, 40-31. I've got Northwestern winning this game, but they're going to get pounded by Gonzaga in the second round.
Yeah, same here.
Aside from that, no other active games at the moment. As we mentioned earlier, Butler beat Winthrop. West Virginia beat Bucknell. So Notre Dame will play West Virginia on Saturday. Yep. Coming up on Saturday. One other final thing for you guys as well, too, before we get out of here. First of all, thank you to you, James, for your insight and filling in today as well.
Anytime.
Absolutely. We love having you. Tomorrow on Brew Sports, we are going to have all of our normal programming that we normally have on our Friday, the 3 daily shows. You can see Double Dribble as well, too, our NBA show from 5 to 6. But because it is the second opening day of the NCAA tournament, we're going to have a lot of other short, exciting little bursts for you throughout the day that you can catch here on Brew Sports. So make sure that you tune in throughout the day as we will be reacting live to some of the NCAA tournament action. We'll have some of our favorite hosts will be here. We'll have some of our correspondents from around the country as well joining us, all breaking down what is happening here on Brew Sports and the NCAA tournament. So make sure you just keep your eyes peeled to everything that we've got going on in Brew Sports tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be a lot of fun. James, I really appreciate you taking the time today, sir, to join us on the program. Any final thoughts from you about anything that we talked about tonight, or predictions going forward for NCAA tournaments?
No, just enjoy the weekend of basketball, and I guess I would say everyone pay attention to the Bucks because it's going to be fun.
It's true.
We could have some playoff basketball, and it's time to enjoy it. I mean, this team looks bright for the future.
It's true. The future is strong, as they say. Instead of the future is, what is it? What was it last year? The future is now. No.
Own the future.
Own the future. That's right. Now the future is strong. So maybe next year the future will be here. How soon is the future coming? I don't know how soon we see the future.
If they're the 6th seed, then
you got to be pretty happy about that overall. I don't know if you can be mad about that.
But I mean, the goal at the end of this year, once again, given what you lost and as far as Jabari and Middleton early, make the playoffs.
You're right.
Get some playoff experience for Middleton, Middleton, Giannis, Brogdon, Thon, and Greg Monroe, who came here to make the playoffs.
Yes.
That's the reason he came here. So
make it happen.
Get in the playoffs and see what happens.
You're absolutely right. All right, well, James, appreciate you taking the time today. Thank you to Dom Garrett as well, too, for joining us in our second segment. If you missed anything, make sure to go check out our YouTube channel. Subscribe to us there, Brew Sports, and head to our website, brewsportsnet.com, as well to see past episodes to stay up to date on everything. And if you're more of a listener than a watcher, go to iTunes and subscribe to any and all of the podcasts that we have for shows here on Brew Sports as well, too. For James Stewart, I'm Baxter Colburn. Thanks so much for tuning in to Happy Hour. We'll see you guys again here tomorrow at 7 a.m. Central Time for the Morning Brew. Happy Hour will be back here again tomorrow as well with Barry Nelson, myself, and Mitch Vomhoff sitting down at the table to break it all down for you. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll see you then.